back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Christy. I'm a writer and I make all kinds of these types of videos. So if you like this one, definitely check out my previous videos that are very similar. I have a playlist that I'll link down below so you can go watch those after you're done with this one. So today I'm going to be talking all about the symbolism in the HBO series Game of Thrones, the phenomenon that people just can't seem to stop talking about. But now that the series has officially ended, I thought that this topic was a great way to sum up my thoughts on the series and the messages in general that the show has conveyed over the seasons. And since this channel is dedicated to creators, I wanted to use this video to illustrate how this specific writing technique is used in the show to create a powerful and memorable story. And if it's not already obvious, please be aware that I'm touching on some major spoilers from the series finale, so if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to wait to watch this video. So first off, I wanted to clarify that symbolism is not concrete and that you can have multiple variations. There is universal symbolism, which is generally known to convey a particular idea, but it can vary depending on your religion or culture. So the color white is a great example of this. In Western civilization, white represents purity, which is why we generally see white worn by brides at weddings. However, in Eastern culture, white represents death and is often worn during mourning. So the second kind of symbolism is personal symbolism, and this is when a particular object conveys something different to an individual person based on their experiences. So we'll touch a little bit more on this type of symbolism when I cover the specific symbols used in Game of Thrones. When a symbol is well established, it can also be a really great foreshadowing tool. So the first and perhaps most obvious symbol that we see in Game of Thrones is the symbol of winter. How often throughout the series do we hear the catchphrase, "Winter is coming"? That is because in the series it literally represents the army of the dead led by the Night King, a being so cold and unyielding as ice. But in broader contexts, winter symbolizes death because it is the official ending of summer/life. What is old dies away during winter so that it can be born anew in spring. After winter, the long-held legacy of the Iron Throne is forever gone, and we see the rise of a new era of an elected ruler as Brandon Stark is appointed King of the Seven Kingdoms, and Sansa rules the independent Kingdom of the North. The second symbol we see in Game of Thrones is the symbol of the sword. In the series, swords represent the power and endurance of family. Individuals might die, but the family legacy lives on, and its strength is symbolized by these weapons of steel. Swords are traditionally passed down to members of the family, but occasionally we see the tradition replaced with meaningful offerings to another who has helped in a time of crisis or honored the family name. The following are a few examples. So first we have Ice, the heirloom of the House Stark. Ice is a Valyrian steel sword which was used to execute Ned Stark, then melted down and crafted into twin swords Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail. Oathkeeper was gifted to Brienne of Tarth to save the last of the Starks and fulfill her promise to Catelyn Stark. Widow's Wail was gifted to and named by the cruel young King Joffrey. Widow's Wail was passed down to Jaime Lannister after Joffrey's demise. It seems appropriate to have the twin sword crafted from ice passed down to the family whose destiny has been intertwined with the House Stark from the very beginning. We then have Longclaw, the weapon of House Mormont, which belonged to Jorah Mormont's father and passed down to Jorah. But when he was exiled, he passed it to Ser Gior of the Night's Watch, who then gave it to Jon Snow, the handle now replaced with a direwolf. I believe this is a symbol of Jon, who was transplanted from one family to another as an infant. Also, just as Jorah, the rightful owner of the sword, was exiled from his homeland, Jon Snow is eventually exiled back to the north and chooses to leave with the freed people, taking his sword with him. Time and again throughout the series, Jon paves his own path led by his intuition and moral compass. In this way, having never been able to claim his birthright, he is claiming his own family legacy. Finally, we have the sword Needle. Gifted to Arya by her brother Jon, it is a personal symbol of Arya's identity both as a Stark and of her own personality. Everyone underestimates the sword, like they do its owner. She is small and skinny, but more than capable, and she will prove herself both with and without her sword. When Arya aims to transform into a faceless man and assume an alternate identity as a ruthless killer, Needle is a reminder to her that she can't disregard who she truly is. Our third symbol is the symbol of fire, which in Game of Thrones represents destiny. In religious contexts, fire is often perceived as a doorway to divine connection. When Melisandre looks into the fire, she is able to commune with the Lord of Light and delivers his message to Stannis Baratheon and others. Just as fire once spread cannot be contained, the symbolism of fire dances between good and evil. While it can warm and protect, it can also devastate, as evidenced by both the sacrificial murder of Stannis' daughter and the slaughter of the people of King's Landing by Daenerys Targaryen. From Stannis and Daenerys' self-righteous perspectives, each of these acts are seen as a necessary deed bringing them closer to the Iron Throne, their destiny. Personally, I feel the strongest connection to the symbolism of the wolf. Traditionally representing wickedness, as in the comparison of a wolf in sheep's clothing, the wolf in this series represents injustice. It is the selfish actions of others continually using the direwolves for their own means and sacrificing them as scapegoats for the wrongs of another. This is seen at the beginning of the series when Arya's wolf defends her from Joffrey and Sansa's wolf is sentenced to death in her place. The wolf represents an unjust world in which the innocent often become scapegoats for the crimes of others. We see many other symbols in the series that are much more obvious, such as the dragon, the crown, the throne, all symbols of power and authority. But what is most interesting is when these symbols juxtapose one another, such as a scene in the final episode when Drogon, also a symbol of untamed power, burns the Iron Throne to molten metal, indicating that the throne was the ultimate destiny of Daenerys, and its power would never belong to another. I also had to mention that epic shot of Daenerys walking out to her subjects as Drogon's wings spread behind her, depicting the untamed, unrepentant dragon within herself. She certainly had quite the character arc that I won't go into in this video, but perhaps in the future, so let me know if you'd like to see that. Writers can use symbols to drive our plot and convey a deeper message. You may have watched the series and perceived some of these symbols differently, and that's okay. That is what makes symbolism so powerful. The subtlety of symbolism enables readers and viewers to perceive the story in their own unique way, in a way that they connect with. Are there any other symbols that you picked up in Game of Thrones? Definitely let me know down below because I would love to hear other theories, and also let me know what you thought about the series finale. I did have some help researching this topic, so I'm going to list my resources down below. Like I mentioned earlier, if you like this video, I have a lot of others like it and more coming, so definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the playlist that I'm linking down below. My latest video was a character analysis of Buffy Summers from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I have a long list of videos like this planned, but if you have any other ideas, definitely let me know down below. I want to know what people are interested in and what people are watching right now. And before I forget, if you like blogs, definitely check out mine where I list a ton of writing techniques and tips and tricks that I've learned along my writing journey. So check that out. I'll list that down below. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.